this. We'll have two teams in all the battles, a 15 minutes presentation for each team, then a 50 minutes discussion where they can get questions from the other team or from you, so from the audience, okay? You just have to raise your hand and then we ask for your question. And today's battle will be Apple versus Microsoft, versus Samsung, sorry. Here on the right there is the Apple's team and the Samsung team, right? Okay, so now I would love to ask to the critical mind, you decide who, whether you can introduce on what we are going to discuss, okay? So just a brief introduction on the battle.
I do it?
I would say so.
I don't know. Okay.
You can do it together, I mean.
Yeah, briefly, we focused on some keywords, and we are going to talk mostly on smartphones and on the smartphone market, and yeah, that's it. Maybe something related to ecosystem, we do some comparisons.
Do we need to state all the keywords for them to know?
No, that's fine.
No,
That's fine.
you will discover in their presentation what were the major topics.
Yeah.
So everyone
Maybe.
will present
So,
his point of view.
yeah.
And then in the conclusion, I don't know.
Yeah, after their discussion, we will have a 10-15 minutes break, okay? Then they come in, they do a 2 minutes sum up of what we discussed in battle for each team. And then in the end, we're going to give you a short URL, we'll see, to vote the winner in your opinion. You will have to vote the winner based on a question that you will find in the forms. Okay, the title of the form will be a question, and you have to decide based on the presentation. So I would say that we can start. So your team, whenever you want.
Okay. Okay, so we start with a disclaimer. The following presentation has a high dose of analogies, and to deliver our point, we are going to use them. And if you don't agree, you can just write at idon'tcare@apple.com. So, first question is, who has a Samsung phone? Somebody of you? You have a Samsung phone. So why did you choose a Samsung phone?
Because it's cheaper than an
Okay.
iPhone.
Yeah?
For the same price, we have got measure results.
Okay. So first price, second specs. Is it fair? Yeah?
There are so many points.
Okay. Somebody
What
else?
is my presentation.
Okay. These are some of the reasonable topics that I found out maybe somebody choose a Samsung instead of an Apple product. You love Android, budget, Apple sucks, specs. You don't want to use wireless headphones, customization like widget, storage, USB charger, and it has a beautiful screen. And now I will focus, and we will start on Apple sucks. So I love this because I was searching for some good old internet dissing, and this came up, and I'm going to read to you this post. So why does Apple suck? Apple is that hot girl. She's pretty, she cooks, she's crazy in bed, you fall in love with her, you promise to be with her all your life, you feel lucky to have her, but in time, so things change. She changes, she starts showing her bad side, she becomes unreliable. Sure, she's still amazing, but you start having some second thoughts. And you stay with her because you've invested so much effort already because of the good times you had. And I completely agree with this guy. I completely agree with this guy. But I have to tell you something, if you don't already know it, but all relationships are like this. All relationships. And also with companies. Because innovation is difficult, and it's difficult to keep up expectations in the market. and A by itself is impossible. So I don't know about you, but my dream is something like this, A plus B. So for me, Apple is totally fine, and the hot girl is totally fine. Then there is also another point, that is, the guy also tells other stories, but about the iPhone, because our topic is more about the smartphones, the iPhone used to dominate the space. Now it's playing catch up at best and focus more on looking good than being good. Yes, iOS still amazing, but Boost S and Notes and Pixels are not as bad as they once were. And for me, it's like saying, yeah, I'm going to give up on Margot Robbie because there is a model undergone some cosmetic surgery. She's fine, also the model with cosmetic surgery, but I think it's not the same. And that said, I'm sure that there is still a little voice for you Samsung users behind your head that is saying, Apple, can you do this? Can you do that? And I tell you that I think that these are some of the questions that are going into your mind. How much RAM do you have? Do you even power share 5G, micro SD, DeX? And I think you are asking yourself, or your voice is asking to you, the wrong kind of questions. And maybe you should try to think a little bit differently. And now, if I didn't convince you, Francesco is going to convince you.
Thanks, Saros. So, basically, why should you buy an iPhone? There is a lot of things that are simply better, and I'm sorry for you, Samsung users. First of all, let's start with the software, and I'm going to play a game with you, which is very easy. So guys, I think that the iOS looks like a tuxedo. So it is something elegant, formal, it looks great and feels amazing. But I mean, even Android is good. So this is the Pixel 4, so it runs the stock version of Android. And I mean, it's a different kind of dress, we get it, someone will like it, someone won't. But I mean, guys, do you have an idea who is trying to create a dress that it is half a tuxedo and half a normal dress? Well, it's Samsung. Samsung is trying to create a user interface that looks like an iPhone, but is made on Android. So, you know, it's like having two dresses, because when you're using Samsung apps, everything looks great, it looks kind of fake iPhone, but at the end of the story, when you open a third-party application, such as WhatsApp, the Play Store, Gmail, it looks like the red dress. It looks like Android. So it's like having two completely different user interfaces inside the same phone. And that's not good. I mean, I want something that is consistent across the entire my experience on the phone. Let's talk about the hardware. Now guys, I get it, you know. Sometimes all you think the speed and power and performance is all you actually need. But let's be honest, if you actually have something that has a great engine, great suspension, but the cars feel shit, then you're going to crash at the next corner. And this is something that happens with cars. I mean, 3 wheels, great power, great performance, a lot of suspension, great suspension, and then you crash on the next corner. That's not good. And I'm going to give you an example between Samsung and the iPhone. So guys, this is the Galaxy S6. It came out in 2015, and according to the spec sheet, it has better specs than the iPhone 6s. The iPhone 6s came out in 2015, and of course, it has lower specs than the Galaxy S6. Just to give you an example, the Galaxy S6 had 8 cores, 3 gigs of RAM, 16 megapixels of camera. Then there was the 6S with just 2 cores, 2 gigs of RAM, and 12 megapixel camera. Now, the thing is, why would you need 8 cores, 3 gigs of RAM, and you name it, you want it, etc., when Samsung decided to stop working on that phone in 2017? How is that even a thing? Guys, seriously, you have this great phone, oh well, it's going to give me great performance, and then you have to change it in 2017 because Samsung decides, screw it, we are going to launch the new phone? How is that even a thing? Instead, the 6S is still in the market, people are still buying it, and it runs iOS 13. And you know what's even worse? They had the same price. So how is that even a thing? I mean, if we look at the price per year, so how the price changes through the years, the iPhone costs less than the Galaxy S whatever. Because the thing is, you are keeping the iPhone for like 4 years, but in 4 years you are going to change your Galaxy S at least 2 times because Samsung decided to stop working on them a lot earlier than Apple. Also, let's talk about privacy and security. And I mean, this is a little bit more trickier because Samsung and Apple has the same idea through security. Yeah, we have to care about people, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that Apple is a little bit different because what they do is that they're just trying to make this thing completely transparent. So you're not going to see pop-ups about, hey, you remember we are great about privacy, blah, blah, blah. It's everything transparent, it works, it's good. They do a lot of great stuff. I'm not going to cover all of them because we don't have a lot of time. But differential privacy, so when they try to collect some patterns, which is something we all do, they try to remove, they remove everything that is that identifies uniquely the users. Everything that they try to do, that you can try to do on the phone, they do it. So for instance, we all know Google Photos. We all know how good it is. We all know that we can use the search bar at the top of Google Photos to find all the photos about my dog. The thing is, all that processing, all the things that Google does to make this experience great is done on their servers. While Apple, all this pre-processing, all the thing that relates to customize the experience is made inside the phone. So basically, if that thing doesn't leave the phone, it won't leak. Also, another thing, still, sorry for Samsung, constant updates. Guys, it's pretty easy. If the phone gets updates, it will stay secure. But what's the thing? Samsung doesn't update their phone. Yeah, okay, the Galaxy S and the most high-end, they get the updates. But are we going to talk about the Galaxy A2 Core that just got the first update and that's it? No. So these are just a list of what we think is the most important part that makes the iPhone just better. But there is also a lot more that we can't cover. So we covered about security quality, software quality, longevity, Siri, privacy, security, the ecosystem, the customer support, the resale value. Guys, there are still people that buy used iPhone 6s. You can't find anyone that wants a Galaxy S6 today. It's impossible. It's actually more profitable for developers, and this is good for us because we will be software engineers and we will care about how they're going to pay us. That doesn't matter if you're going to be a mobile developer, but just take this. People that works on the App Store, so we publish app on the App Store, are more profitable than apps on the Play Store. And that is plain easy. So if you're actually going to work on mobile apps, think about iOS, besides what you like. So that's pretty much like it. I knew there is a lot to cover more, but I think that gives you a pretty good impression of how iPhone, in a lot of cases, is just better. Now, actually, I want to thank you everyone for listening to me and Eros. And actually, I don't know most of you, so I'm sorry. But I think I have something to say which is very important. Guys, please, for the love of God, from the bottom of my heart, remember to not charge your Galaxy phone on the car. Thank you.
You even save 2.5 minutes, so 15 minutes maximum for the other team. You can switch. Then we have also the...
Va giù premendo in basso, va avanti premendo in basso. Se vuoi tipo sì, se no... Cos'hai? Cosa ti manca?
L'adattatore news.
O l'HDMI. The clicker? Mi mancano 5 minuti dello segnale.
So, good afternoon. We are here to present the Samsung company. We are focusing our discussion especially on smartphones. Just to give you an idea of Samsung. Samsung has the market in Europe with 40% of the smartphone market. Samsung does not produce only smartphones, but also many other devices such as washing machine, tablet, smartwatches, and other types of products. Samsung also gives to the providers some solutions for implementing the first 5G commercial networks around the world, especially in South Korea, Japan, and in the US. Now we focus our discussion on the design. Just some points. The design is a modern design for a wide variety of devices because we have a lot of products and devices for all users. Also, the colors are customizable. And particular characteristics is the new concept of screen. In the last models, we find all the sensors hidden under the screen, so the experience is an immersive experience. We have all the screen available. Just a slide that shows the evolution of the design for the Galaxy series. Starting from 2010. A key point in the Samsung experience is the customization. We have lots of themes available, and they are easy to install for everyone. A particular topic is the user interface. Samsung has developed a new user interface, One UI, that improved the one-hand use. So all the interactive part of the screen is in the bottom part of the screen. All the key apps and informations are available and at the first impact is easy to find what you need. Particular point is the blue light protection. With the One UI, the spectrum of the screen is shifted in frequency, and the blue light frequencies are less. So.
So, for the hardware, we have a wide range of hardware tiers than the competition. We have an entry-level tier with phones that cost much less than the competition. So we talk about 250 euros, and the competition, let's say Apple, doesn't have any phone in this category, which is one of the categories that sells most of the smartphone in the market today. And we have also mid-range and high-end tier smartphone. Apple in this side is mostly on the high-end with only a device that exited on 216. That is in the mid-range price, but they have only one old phone in this range and no phones in the entry level. So the customer with Samsung is not limited by the money he wants to spend because we have a wider price spectrum. We also have smartphones for everyone. So if you are looking for an elegant smartphone, we can give you the S10 or the Note 10. But if you are looking for a more resistant one, because you tend to break the glass of your phone, or you're living in you're doing some heavy duty job, you can opt in for a more resistant phone with more resistant materials. On the technology side, we have the AMOLED and the Super AMOLED screens that have a higher resolution than the iPhone ones, and good color clarity, and a very good contrast ratio of 100,000 to 1. And the important note is that AMOLED screens are also available on lower-end devices that cost you also 250 euros. So it's not a technology that is only present in 800 or 1,000 euro phones. Our CPUs are coming from Qualcomm, which is a renowned chip maker for not only Samsung but also a lot of other companies. And obviously, the new Samsung devices support 5G connectivity. We also have on most phones expandable memory, which is a huge pro for the users that make a lot of photos or install a lot of apps. And also on most entry-level devices, we have removable batteries. This is particularly important because you don't have to buy a new phone each time you get your memory full.
The software of the Samsung is based on the Android. Sorry, but
Now.
Maybe Samsung has some trouble with my animators, but it's okay. We can just continue because the Android have a massive user basis, and you can access some information from this table. Yes, it's not very clear for the back of the students, and you can see from here. Yes, the Android is occupied and always occupied 70% of the operating system market share, and the data for the last 1 year.
You have to go down.
And the Android has the open source operating system, and because the developer can access the source code without any restrictions, the device manufacturer can changes their hardware compatibilities, and it makes the operating system more highly customizable. And Google can get the feedbacks and suggestions from the tester and the developers and the manufacturers, and use this to improve their operating system. And the Play Store has more than 1 million applications, and it is free for app development. You can develop your own app in the Play Store, and you can develop your own app and list it on the Play Store. For example, there is the familiar apps. It's the Fantastical. I think most of us know these apps, and because these apps is used to help the students in the University of the Trento to access the timetable of course, and it is really convenient because you just need to set your majors and get the table automatically. And remember, this apps is only available in Play Store. Thanks.
Talk about a bit about the security part. Well, as you know, Android in general is not as safer as other OS, but Android and Google try to mitigate this problem using making frequently security updates and collaborate with artificial intelligence to try to reduce the problem. Another key point is the Samsung Knox, that is a multi-layer system produced by Samsung that make the device more safer, because it's not working only in the software part but also in the hardware, and reduce the possibility of an attack. So this system is receive a lot of prize for its robustness, and it's considered better than an iOS system for the security.
Okay, so just to give you an idea of how many smartphones you can have, the good quality price ratio, let's say if your budget is not so high, with 260 euros for instance, you bring home a smartphone with a Super AMOLED display, 4K camera resolution, and a battery capacity of 5,000 mAh, which means it lasts much more than an average smartphone. And I'm talking about launch price, so you can have it for even less. While here, spending a little bit more, you can have basically these features plus, I don't know, option for HDR camera. So a little things and more. So always talking about launch price, and here I think the slide talks by itself. I mean, you can get ready for the 5G by purchasing a smartphone that includes these features, all the previously mentioned ones and others, for less than 800 euros, always on the launch date. So if you want to get the 5G but staying on the S series, also S10 5G is available, and it is the first smartphone in the world to feature the 5G. So let's say you can see there is a very wide range of prices and a good quality price ratio on almost all devices. So basically, I will leave the floor to Enrico.
For the connection and the exchange of data with external devices, Samsung provides many different technologies. We can use Bluetooth, NFC technology, Wi-Fi, 3.5mm jack for the audio output, micro USB, or micro SD. One of the strong points of Samsung is that all of this technology can be used to connect phones with all the devices we want, in particular also with not original devices. In fact, there aren't problems of compatibility of any kind, and it's not necessary to perform some configuration or install apps or programs as a support. The only requirement is that obviously the device supports the technology that we want to use for the connection. Every year Samsung introduces some innovation, like in this year with the new Galaxy S10, they introduced the depth camera to improve the result of pictures, photos and videos, and the wireless power share to charge some devices like Galaxy Watch with the phone. Now we can mention two of the main innovative features that Samsung want to introduce in the next years. One of these is the new Galaxy Fold, that some models are already available in some countries, but the Samsung wants to spread out this phone in all the world in this year. And the main characteristic of the Galaxy Fold is that it can be folded in half, and so we can use it like a normal phone, or we can open it and use it like a little tablet. Another interesting feature that on which Samsung are working about is the frontal camera hidden under the screen, and in that way the intention of Samsung is to create a phone with in front of the phone are only the screen until the edge, and we can see the whole of the camera like we can see in the photo. Thank you for your attention.
So you've seen the two marketing departments that made their presentation.
Okay, now in fact, so if you have questions, please take that.
See, this will be a debate, so the audience will participate with their own question, but first of all, if you didn't understand anything, just take note of what you didn't understand and you will ask. But first we'll let the two teams start debating, let's say, a bit. Strong debate. So
please start. Do you have any question for the other team?
What's questions?
Yeah.
Yes, questions.
Yeah, from your presentation, I saw that there are two main points for Samsung that are price and customization, from what I understood. Customization, I completely agree, but I'm not really sure that at the end it is so important for the end user. I don't really need to have a choice of 30 colors for my phone, and also themes. I mean, when I use my phone, at least I'd like to have a theme design in the phone that works, and I don't need to switch so much themes on my phone. If it works, it works. And the other thing is also the thing about price. The thing is that, yeah, you can buy a cheap phone, but you have a cheap phone. And at least if you buy an Apple phone, an iPhone, you have a chance to resell it. And I don't really know if at the end a normal user will really spend less over the years by using Samsung or Android phones.
You got this question.
I want to add just one point to it. When you have more variants of one thing, from user perspective it has different, but company perspective you have to put same assembly line for different assembly line for different variants. Let's suppose even you have 30 colors, So in order to provide the spares for a long time, for like 5 years, for spares for some old version, in order to keep all the variants in the markets and all the spares, you have to put different assemblies and keep all the spares. A person having a shop or some repair store, he has to keep all the variants with himself for providing a service for quite a long time. So in user perspective, if you have something similar, you can keep getting these spares and other things for quite a long time.
So there are two questions. You got both of questions, or?
Yeah.
What are the actual questions? Because they are just...
Okay,
are you really so cheap?
I tried to summarize this question. He was saying, well, in your presentation, from what I understood, there are two main features on Samsung, which is customization and price. So first, you should answer if you agree that these are the two strong points in your presentation, first, okay? Second, you say, okay, as regards these, I have doubts that are useful. As regards the others, I have also doubts that are useful. Okay? So this is his question. Second question, yes, he said, okay, but if you want to keep this customization, it's difficult because you need to have releases on a bunch of mobile phones, and so your production lines needs to be faster, and then your products are lower because you have more products to take care of. Your production lines has more product to take care of. So this is the second question. So I will start with the first.
Yes. I think I can answer to the customization.
You can stand, sorry, thanks.
For the customization part, I think maybe you are not interested in themes, but if I think about a teenager or someone that is not interested in technology, I think I have the best phone on the market. Is pink, is red, is green. I can change my theme. I can put something that I want. So the final device is much more efficient in some sense for the final result to give the idea that I have the best phone.
Also, it's not only about the team, but I have an Honor phone, not a Samsung, but it's the same principle. I didn't like MUI, the Honor UIs, and I installed a third-party launcher. So it's much more easier on Android. It's not possible on iPhone. If you don't like iPhone UI, you have to stick with it. On Android, I can just download Smart Launcher, I download the Nova Launcher, I download a third-party launcher, and I have the disposition I want on my screen of the apps. I can have the graphics I want. I can have additional functionalities. It's much more easier on Android than it is on, well, it's not possible on Apple, so it's not easier.
You don't need it in iPhone because the interface is well made, I think, but okay.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
Higher? I mean, I don't think there is no need to customize the theme of an iPhone because there is so much thought about the user interface that at least 90% of the users should feel completely fine with the user interface.
What do you think about this last sentence?
Please, go.
Do you know what is JBREC and CDR? Because I saw a lot of themes on that. Do you know what is JBREC?
Cydia is dead at least 3 years ago. So
Sorry?
Cydia is dead. I mean, your point is right. There was jailbreaking. I mean, I was the one that with iOS 4 did the jailbreak. Yes. But I mean, there's no point anymore. I mean, there was a lot more than just customization with Cydia.
Yes, but okay, it was like about two or 5 years ago, the golden era for Cydia. But I saw a lot of people that choose the iPhone themes on their iPhone jailbroken. So maybe it's a point of view maybe nowadays you cannot customize iPhone, so you're sticking with it, and you don't have options. So.
Yeah, but the thing is another. He said that he changed the launcher, right? Does that change the settings up, the control launcher, and all the other thing that Huawei decided to do in his own way?
No, but it doesn't change the graphic. For example, I didn't like to have a shit ton of apps on my screen, so I installed a launcher that can divide in a better way the icons on it.
Yeah, okay, but I mean the thing is that you are not replacing the issue that there is another UI on top of Android. You are adding another UI on top of another UI, and this is like a third layer which can actually reduce the usability. I'm not talking about you, I mean, I get it, that you find it easier, but I'm looking about a more wider user number of users. I mean, it could be like that you're just adding a lot more complexity because it can be different from Android and different from how Huawei decided to show it.
Okay, sorry. Let's say your mother was an iPhone, okay? Yeah. And she doesn't like the fact that she has all apps on the different let's call desktops. Okay, so you put the icons in folders, but that doesn't really fix the problem because then you have to look for the app in the folder. So what you can do is nothing. But for example, with my launcher, I have only 8 apps on the main screen. Okay, and for the you can swipe left, and then you have all your apps divided into automatically into different categories. So
well, we can actually do the same, except for the fact that we can't arrange them. But I mean, I can just have 8 icons on the main screen and then on the others. I mean, I don't have to fill the entire page. I can just decide to have just one icon on the home page, whether it is on the bottom part or on the top part.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't put them on the center. Well, actually, there are some ways, but I mean, it's a little bit more complicated, so I'm not going to get into that.
Regarding the price, I think the guy didn't listen to my part of the presentation because I exposed the Galaxy M20 and 30, and it features Super AMOLED display and 4K camera resolution, a battery capacity 5,000 mAh, and for 260 euros, it's very cheap. Okay, like you said, it's very cheap. And you then raised the question why you can't resell it. Okay, but do I really need to resell such a phone today, in 2019, with that specific?
also, how many people are actually reselling iPhones? Because okay, you open up eBay and you see a lot of different iPhones, used iPhones that are getting sold. But how many of the normal users in the end sell their iPhones?
Do you have statistics on that?
We don't have statistics, but everybody tries to sell his phone if it is worthy. I mean, if you are getting good money, why you will throw that money away? But in case of Samsung, you don't get that much money, so you try to throw it investment. But if you are getting some
you have
money,
a choice. If you want to sell it, you can sell it to buy the newer model. If you need to or want to buy the newer model. And about the price, yeah, I get what you mean, but there is also the problem of compatibility and Android that is messing up everything with versions, fragmentation. It's very difficult for Android, for its kind of environment, ecosystem. There are a lot of versions. It goes with every phone that you want, but the problem is that it's very difficult for them to they have compatibility issues, and that issues means also that on the average time, the average life of a smartphone, of an Android smartphone, is much less than an average lifespan of an iPhone phone.
I don't understand very well what are you
Lifespan of the phone. Lifespan means when you buy the phone and when or it's broken or Android doesn't work no more on your phone or whatever.
Yeah, but you have the same problem with the battery because from an iPhone that have more than 1 or 2 years, the battery is dramatically goes down in restoration.
You can change the battery with every Samsung model.
Almost in always.
How many time? How much time do you need? Does it need to change a battery?
You
not by your
Samsung,
own. I mean, well, you actually a customer, so you call Samsung. Hey, my battery is dead, and they are asking you, well, send it to us.
Okay, but we have to be agree on the fact that if we are all already in the warranty or not, because the same problem is for the iPhone.
Yeah.
If you're not in the warranty, you.
Well, I mean,
you can try to sell the phone, but.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, you're right.
And the money for changing the battery.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I think you have to sell an iPhone direct for changing the battery of your iPhone, whereas for Samsung it is not the same.
Can you speak louder, because otherwise...
Sorry, I just intended to say that the changing of the battery, if you have an iPhone, is much more expensive than changing it with Samsung. Okay?
No, I'm sorry. Do you have the numbers from
Yeah,
Samsung?
because if you are out of warranty with Apple.
No, they just changed it because of that the battery gate and blah blah blah. It's like 40 euros for my lead class, which is like 3 years old. I mean, you're actually looking at the price if you actually break the camera. That's another story. That's like an amount of money. But on the battery, yeah, it costs more than just buying the battery and you do it. But that's another story because you're actually taking into consideration that you should be able to do it. So if we take just one normal person that has no idea of how the phone works, he just goes to the Apple Store and pays 40 euros and he has the battery. So it's not that much.
Yeah, but for many of the Samsung devices, not so difficult because you can open your phone, will remove the battery and insert the new one.
Yeah, we should look at how many of them still have screws and they are not glued in, but I mean, yeah, it's not so. I mean, the Galaxy S10, take the Galaxy S10. The back cover is completely glued, so you should have a heat gun and just remove it, so, you know, it's not that easy. Plus, it's glass, so you can actually...
Yeah, okay. In this case, you go to the customer service, like...
Yeah, that's why I was asking you if you have any number.
For one, two devices, you can...
Yeah, obviously, if you change just my Samsung every 2 years, that's another story. But I mean, I'm not going to change on that.
Actually, we have a 1 hour policy for the warranty period, which is extended then if you pay. So if you go to the Samsung service, you have a 1 hour warranty. So you keep the phone and they have to give you the phone back in maximum 1 hour.
You're talking about Samsung services or authorized services, because I mean they are different. It's like going to the Apple Store and going to a store that is authorized by Apple.
I mean, it's the policy of Samsung, basically. I'm not sure if the authorized guys need to use this.
Apple too, but it's different based on the fact that you are on the Apple Store or on, I mean, just even Media World out here is an Apple authorized, but they take like a day to change the battery. So it really depends on the type of store you're going into. I mean, I'm not going to go further into that. No
Is
idea.
there any other question also from the audience? Because we're free to
Related to
jump
this.
in.
Any comment related to what they just discussed? How many of you would change the battery yourself in your phone? Raise your hand. I would say a minority. I would say a minority. Just for the sake of this last discussion, that was very technical on if I do it myself or if I go to a customer. Most of the people here would go to a shop. Okay.
Do you have any question also for both the teams?
Okay, there was a second question here to answer that was related to this, so that was his answer, his question. That is, okay, if you have a lot of models, this means that also with your assembly line, and also the upgrade of your mobile is more difficult. So
This can be out of topic, right? This is out of topic.
we say that is out of topic. I don't remember. The two critical minds should.
Sorry. I missed the question. What is the question?
We don't have the assembly line things like the
No,
factory
no.
stuff.
He was saying that if you have more models,
Okay.
then the upgrade of such model is more difficult than if you have fewer models like they have, and so.
Still out of topic from my perspective.
Can I just explain more?
Yeah.
Okay, I have that thing in my head now. If you have that pan and it is every time the new version is coming and having bit similarity with it, so you can have the spares for this pan for a long time. But if you have like 30 or 40 colors of the same pan, and your each coming next model is making a lot of changes with respect to the previous ones, so to keep the spares and things for the previous models like the users have, it's difficult to maintain all the stock every time for everyone.
Yeah, I understood, but it's out of topic.
Yeah, but I can try to answer the
We
question.
say that it's out of topic, but
If you want for
I can't say anything because I'm biased. I don't want to say anything.
So they insist in this topic, so
Yes,
we
yes.
try to
order these tests. Oh, it's better if you stand on these long answers so that they understand better.
But I answer with a question. It's not something to do, but it's better for you to change things or maintain for 3 or 4 model only the same specific of the phone. As Wozniak said when it was presented the iPhone 10, he said, okay, but why I have to change my iPhone 8? That is the same things about the iPhone 6 and 7 to change in the 10, that is almost the same. So we try to, maybe not all of us product is better than other, but at least we try to change, not to stay fixed on the same model, on the same phone. That's
Very tricky. So this is an answer which in fact is a question. Debate.
My question is not why you have more variants. I agree, it's okay, it's better you have more colors for the same thing. My question is how long you can maintain the spares and how a person having a phone, like having 3 years, if you don't have to buy a phone for next 3 years, he has to maintain that for 3 or 4 years, then how he will get everything from the shop or everywhere. My question was not that why you have more variants. It's okay, it's a very good thing. How to maintain that variants?
But
I don't know. As far as the market, you just saw the cipher. I don't know.
Can you stand and shout a bit? Sorry.
So she showed the market share of Samsung. So I don't think this is a problem as far as the market. So
no,
So the answer is okay. Until the market wants our phones, we keep selling.
As long as the market asks for it, we can found ourselves.
Counter answer or?
I'm a little bit missing of a point.
Okay.
So we ask the audience.
Guys, question from you. Do you have a question for any of the team?
For the iPhone team. What about the connectivity of the iPhone? Because we know that iPhone doesn't have so many connectivity.
Physical connectivity.
Yeah, exactly, as other like as Samsung, or it's not compatible. No, it's not. Compatible with so many devices.
Are you referring to connectivities like the Type-C and the iPhone jack, or
also to connect with other devices? I don't know.
Ecosystem.
For example, with computers which are not Apple, can you connect them?
Yes. Yeah.
We want a live demo, no? Just
We actually don't have.
you can also answer. Okay.
Yes, you can. I mean, there is no such tight integration like with a MacBook, which you can actually share instantly with AirDrop, let's say. But there is still a way to share data with a PC or a Linux, although I'm not sure about this one actually. Sure, it is a little bit more complicated, besides the fact that there is iTunes that is a little bit overcomplicated these days. But the thing is, it does work with everything. It's not just Apple. It doesn't work. It works with everything basically. It's just a little bit more difficult. So yeah, it actually works. And on the connectivity thing, the only real thing that is missing on the iPhone is the 5G connection. But I mean, I'm not even going to talk about it because in Italy it's like 20% coverage and it's not that great. So why 5G today? And you may ask, well, but in 2 years we will have 5G and my phone is already ready. Yeah, good. But in 2 years the sensors will be better. So it's good to have a phone that has the latest chip available. Let's say. I'm sorry, I need a counter if you want to.
Yeah, but there's not exist only Italy.
Yeah.
There is other place where 5G is a reality.
Yeah, well, if you take the United States where they are faking 5G with 4.5G.
I'm talking about the South Korea that is more developed.
Yeah, but if we are taking just tiny. Yeah, if we are taking just tiny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, but we are just talking about not the entire world, let's say.
Yeah, but
okay.
You mentioned
yeah, you're right.
Yes. And for the other part, I don't know if I have a MacBook and if I would to connect with my phone that is not an iPhone, it's quite a bit difficult because I have to download a program. So
that's it.
Yeah, but it's, you don't have the same.
Yeah, it's like with the PC, you have to download iTunes.
Okay, but
sorry.
You don't like the interface and you download an app for the interface.
So,
but you can do.
You have to do. For Apple, try to keep the environment more comfortable for the final user, but on the other hand, they say, yeah, but you have to all buy our product.
Yeah.
If not, you have to download, and maybe it's not my case, but maybe an adult or an old guy that try to do this, have so many problems with this.
Yeah, right. But speaking of integration, Samsung is the same company that has smartwatches that aren't compatible with the iPhone, which is nonsense since there are other smartwatches from Android that are actually compatible with it, because Google is like, yeah, the iPhone exists, so let's just create something compatible. So I mean, yeah, surely the Apple ecosystem is a lot more closed, it's a lot more tighter than the Android one, but let's not forget that each manufacturer, and especially Samsung, tries to create something similar for their products.
Yeah, no.
Can't connect my Samsung washing machine with the iPhone, so no, I'm joking. I don't know. I'm joking.
Any comments from the audience on this? Yeah, there. Two people. First.
To iPhone, more about the connectivity.
Please, can you stand? Sorry, because they don't hear you.
More about the connectivity. I would like to ask, when designing a product, do you take into consideration the user? Should it the product is supposed to be user friendly? So if you are producing something which is not user friendly, sharing stuff with other people becoming difficult and stuff, do you think that is the right thing to do?
Okay. So the relation is towards connectivity. So the fact that you cannot add something on the hardware, so physically to connect it with other things is difficult, and so this some sort of make it more difficult for users, so less user-friendly, if I understood correctly that.
Can I have an example of something that I can connect to an Android phone and that I can't on an iPhone? Quick.
Okay, take for instance, I have a friend who is using an Android phone. You know, all Android phones can connect through Bluetooth, through apps that are easier to transfer data or to exchange data. But for iPhone, unless you have an iPhone user which you use AirDrop or something to share it becomes difficult, and you don't only look at some specific group of people when you are making a product. You look at the mass because you want your product to sell. So I am asking for the user-friendly aspect. When designing a product as a company, you have to take into consideration the user-friendly of the people too. So what do you think about that?
I don't know if I'm going to answer to your question, but for my experience, the typical use case of sharing is if it is about sharing stuff, is sending stuff. Telegram, WhatsApp, email, upload somewhere, Google Drive. So I don't know if your example was something about like I want to send a file using Bluetooth from my phone to another phone.
Yeah,
maybe
even with PCs, Windows PCs and stuff, to transfer data from an iPhone to Windows PC, about the connectivity as well. That is a problem.
I use cloud services, so I don't know.
What about big files that you cannot transfer on WhatsApp?
If you have big videos, like 30 minutes videos, and if you want to send from an iPhone to a Samsung,
I would prefer to use a cloud service that takes a lot of time and maybe that is more reliable than sharing from my phone a big file.
I mean, even with Bluetooth between two Android phones, it's going to take years. So I don't understand where is the issue.
One more point. Okay, what I am understanding, I don't use iPhone. iPhone cannot send data to Samsung. This is your question.
Yeah.
Can Samsung send data to iPhone?
not.
Well, one-to-one.
But I can send the videos to an Huawei.
Yeah, but with
to iPhone.
But iPhone.
An iPhone can send the file only on an iPhone.
No.
My question is simple. Can your Samsung phone can send data on MacBook? Can your Samsung phone can send data to another iPhone?
You are talking about just Apple products.
Yeah, I'm talking about these products. Why Samsung didn't consider these products?
Why
they don't exist in this world. You should consider these products. Man only is saying that.
Let's just fix it, saying that there are cross-platform applications where you can send files through the local network. So don't worry.
And I never heard a guy you have an Android, you have an iPhone that can
no, we're not friends anymore.
Sorry. If I understood the question, but
I try to simplify the question. If you want to, please.
I try and I can send using Bluetooth a file from an Android phone to my MacBook.
So you are going to. They are going to hire you.
we already paid him.
Black money.
Just a question to you. Please reverse that process also. What you have done? No. Just a joke. What you have done from Samsung to MacBook, whatever the tool you have used, it's also possible that you can connect from MacBook to back to your Samsung. Is it not possible?
I try with Android, so not with Samsung. So
from Android to
MacBook and also
and
from
also
MacBook
back.
and also back.
Yeah.
And
It's working.
So double black money for you.
Please, just to add something to the
Can you stand and shout a bit? Thanks a lot.
On Android, you can use a new technology called Wi-Fi tethering to share file. Also, not using Bluetooth, that it's very fast. And I don't see why cloud options are taken in account, because you have to use your data plan. Maybe it's not so big. Maybe you have only 2 GB. Maybe you are in Alaska and you don't have internet access. And maybe you just don't wanna share your file with Google or Apple. So
they already know everything.
yeah, okay, but offline option, offline option is always something that I really like.
AirDrop uses Wi-Fi tethering, so if I have an iPhone and he has an iPhone, yes. Android tethering doesn't work with iPhone, so the thing is, if I have an iPhone, he has an Android, we have to use cloud, or if we have to send a 2 gigs file, good luck with Bluetooth.
I mean, okay, but because iDrop is a closed protocol,
yeah,
it's not Android phone.
Yeah, if you take Android or Samsung as a closed ecosystem, that's the same thing. There is no communication with this Wi-Fi tethering between us.
But you can implement the Wi-Fi tethering on iPhone because it's an open source protocol. But they cannot implement iDrop on their phone because it's a closed source protocol. So the problem is, on my opinion, it's your fault because you don't use open standards.
Yeah, but it's a choice. I mean, I can say that.
No, it's not a choice. It's
it's a choice to not write open standards of Apple.
A comment here? Sorry, then we come there and then there. Sorry, your question is a completely new one or is related to what we were discussing?
Yeah, we were discussing.
Perfect.
The question will work for both.
Can you stand? Because you have particularly low voice. Sorry. We know you.
Okay, for Apple, what is the reason behind that iPhone don't have a memory slot? For Samsung, they have a card extension if you want to add more storage on that.
So just to repeat the question is why they do not have memory slots in the format.
Okay, now we come to you and then there.
I'm just quoting Apple what they say because there is a ways to make your phone smart and slim. So in order to make it slim, they don't afford a port. And also, like we have studied somewhere that Samsung claims about water resistance, their phone is not true. But Apple has like water resistant, juice, tea, and dust resistant phones. In order to make something water resistant, you can't afford some ports or some holes inside or jack something. So this is the main reason why they don't go for plastic card.
Okay. Your answer, please go.
I never thought that I will defend the Apple.
Other money laundering.
But you were pointing the debates on Android, not on Samsung, I think. Of course, Android on Huawei or on Samsung can use the tethering, but it's the same for the Apple, and it's about Android, not about Samsung, I think. And if you take, for example, don't laugh, but Windows Phone, they were not compatible to Samsung because it's another system which it's not even developed by Samsung. So why is the point in bringing the fight on this side, which is not related to the main topic? A question that I wanted to ask for the Apple users, it's you in the last slide you showed the chip which was on fire, and that's it. An issue which is I don't think programmed by the developers of the Samsung. It's like
hopefully not.
But there are a lot of topics. I don't know if you heard it. There are a lot of topics about the new MacBooks, which are like very thin, and there are issues about if you, of course, if you don't like just look for photos but if you stress a little bit your MacBook, there are problems about the soldering of the CPU, and that's because the heatsink is missing. And it's an issue that it's solved by the Apple. Like the designer had to place the heatsink. There were no space because they wanted to look better because of thin. And of course, you don't have to care about the space for the heatsink if you don't have the heatsink. Like, but how is this a feature? Like, I have to keep my standard of good looking, okay? And I voluntarily remove the most important part for the CPU, which is the heatsink. And I still place the vent, which is like a placebo, because if you don't have a way to draw the heat from the CPU to the vent, why do you put the vent? It's like, how do you see this part? I don't know if you're informed, of course you can't look all the topics, but this is an issue which is thought. It's not accidental like
every Note 7 catching fire, you say.
What?
You know, okay, I get it. Yeah, it was not. First of all, it's a bit off topic, but I mean.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's you vote the
catching
my
fire.
fault.
My fault.
So
yeah, it is something that came up in the not so long ago, actually. And yeah, it is a problem, and we're going to fix it. The thing about the Note 7 is that how can a company, I'm not talking about slim stuff, I'm just talking about a phone. How can a company sell a phone and like 80% of them catches fire when charging? I mean, have you guys never tried, tested it? That's the thing, it's not like, because the problem with the MacBooks is like they eventually desolder. But this is because, I mean, they can't actually test them for like 2 years. The thing about the Note 7 is that they didn't caught fire after 2 years, they caught fire after 2 weeks.
Yeah, but there is a problem also for the iPhone that explode. So why only mention Note 7?
Let's not take into consideration an entire category of smartphones that catches fire and just some example.
Okay, it's just because, okay, we
Samsung
probably have a
solved
problem with the one model, but there are many types of iPhone that explode.
Yeah,
so,
but batteries catch fire.
I can make the same example with the iPhone 6 that was bending.
Yeah, I mean, bending doesn't kill people. But I mean,
okay, let's try to catch two opinions from the public. First and second.
It's the same topic.
So, he didn't speak because
he talked about an entire category that have an issue. And like he says, there were a model that bended when you put it in the pocket. But there are others example. If you spend a lot of money for a phone and not often, but there are few cases in which there were technical issues and you got refunded or given with another phone, and the bugged one was retired from the market. You still have an amount of time in which you are without your phone. So I mean, it's a critical issue for a customer, because the first time that happened things like this to me, I had issues with Samsung, and I'm sure I will never buy any more Samsung.
I was trying to understand who was attacking or defending.
But I mean, there are, for example, the model of iPhone which when you put it in your hand, you cover the antennas and it don't work anymore. The one who was bending, and the one with the memory that they said, the charger, I don't know what were they saying. But there are few cases, and this can cause trust issues. How do you manage it?
Okay, trust issue is very interesting. Is this something related to this, what you wanted to add?
Yes.
Please add yours and then a unique answer, and then we have another question there. Is it related to this? No, then we go to your question. Please, tell yours.
Okay, about hardware problem. In my opinion, it's normal that some new product, that some innovation has a problem at any point, because...
so you gave the answer, too bad.
I'm defending Apple and also Samsung, because every innovation have issues, a problem for the MacBook or the foldable Samsung that... so, in my opinion, a company that can see the problem and can fix it and have a great customer care is better than do not innovate stuff.
Okay, 1 second.
It's related to this.
It's related to this. Please go ahead.
From my opinion, I see the quality, especially of the software, but also of the hardware, from Apple decreasing from 10 years ago to now. You like also the software update of operating systems. 10 years ago you have the first update of the new operating system after 6 months. Now the first update is 1 week or less on Apple. Because the first update is all bug resolving. And for me, from my opinions, I don't know what do you think, but now Apple reduced a lot and it's near on the level of Samsung, the standard quality of the product.
So I try to summarize all these interventions to say, ask you and then you, how you are going to increase the trust of your customers towards your product, and how you are going to increase the trust of your customers towards your customers. Okay? And then we go to the last questions, and then we need some sort of...
My question is about screen repair. If I have iPhone 11, it costs like $199. iPhone 11 Pro, $279. Pro Max, $329. So why? Also, if you
why is it so he wants to get a special price.
So if you are subscribed to AppleCare Plus, you can just pay $29 for all of this, but you have to pay monthly from 9 euros to 199 euros per month. It's on the website.
This is like insurance. Okay. So, who wants to start? Could you stand, please?
Yes, with the first question about customer care. There are a lot of authorized centers of Apple, and also the customer care plus service. With this service, if you have a problem, you just call the Apple customer care. They send you a phone before you bring it to the shop, so you really don't
you get the emulator. You get the substitution.
Yeah, you get the substitution before you you have not your phone for a week or something. So this
that helps. So this, you think, increase the trust of customers towards Apple?
Yes.
Okay. They replace them immediately. I mean, on the Apple stores and other customer support, basically you go there.
Yeah, you go there, or also they send you at home. If you have not near Apple store, they send a new phone at your home, and then you have to resend or bring it to an Apple center. So you have not, you are not without your phone when you're at it.
Okay. Do you have also an immediate answer to why glasses are so expensive?
Yeah, no, well, actually, no, the thing is, well, yeah, it costs a lot, and I think you get into all of us, we don't understand why, but the thing is, they have to replace the entire phone, so they are like, yeah, you basically pay for the entire new phone. But the point is...
Yes. What? The question stays...
They have a lot of mouth.
Yeah, I know, it's just glass. But the thing is, and this happens also on Samsung, if they have to just change the glass, they actually have to completely move the entire phone from one chassis to the other. Because the thing is, the phone is made like that. The front the front glass has all the screws for the other part, and then there is the cover, the bottom, the back glass. So the thing is, if they have to replace the front glass, they have to completely remove the entire thing and just put back it together. So they are more like, yeah, let's change it all, which is not good, I know. There is AppleCare for a reason, and it's also good because there are other cool things like customer support, so you can call them for anything. But yeah, there's no denial that it costs a lot for just a thin layer of glass.
By the way, new phones are supporting fast charging.
Yeah.
But why not include the fast charging port in the box?
Technically on the iPhone 11 Pro they are starting, but I mean, the thing is, with fast charging, the problem is the heat. So on OnePluses, the good thing is that all the heat produced by the charging of the device is made on the brick, on the wall brick, where you just put your USB cable and it just goes through the phone. On other devices, I'm not talking about Samsung, but also Huawei and others do this. The main charging section is done inside the phone. So what happens is that, yeah, you are charging in 45 minutes, but the phones became extremely hot, and this can damage the battery in the long term. So the official reason is that we don't want to destroy the battery, and so I think they are just trying to put the entire circuitry of the charging on the power brick instead on the phone, which is a lot more complicated, but it is more secure in the long term.
I mean, the phone can support.
Yes, it can.
Fast charging, but it doesn't contain. When I open the box, it doesn't contain fast charging adapter.
Yeah.
I can buy it like 15 minutes.
Okay. The point is, what he's trying to say is, why do your phone support fast charging? And then you don't put fast charge on the stock charger, because if you are worried with the phone health, with the battery health of the phone, you don't put fast charge support. But
yeah.
If you put fast charge support, why
it's
are
not officially supported. I mean, the thing is, you can charge it with a faster way, let's say, with an MacBook charger, for instance, because it has more power and the phone allows to drain more. The thing is, it's not officially supported for a reason that I don't know because I'm not at Apple. So the thing is, yes, it charges quickly, it's not supported, you can do it, and why don't they put a fast brick inside the phone? Because officially they don't allow that.
Okay, let's close on this issue because it's going very technical.
Can you answer to the...
You have to answer your question. So why would you improve trust in Samsung customers? Please, you have a few minutes also to answer. One of you, please stand. Thank you. I know you're very shy, but...
Oh. Well, on the customer service point, I can say that, well, Samsung is not so fast as Apple, but I mean, if you can live 1 week without your phone, you're done, basically.
Okay, and what do you do to improve trustness in your customer? Do you have any idea of what Samsung does towards their customers?
They are checking their battery with more secure protocols now.
Okay, so they are trying to improve the quality of their mobile phone.
Yeah, they actually now I think are producing their own semiconductors. So.
Okay. So they are internalizing the
brand new
lines of microcircuits, so to have better quality control.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, now guys, we need to...
yeah, we go for a 10-15 minutes break.
Well, first, thanks for this discussion. 10 minutes, well, let's say 7 minutes, 8 minutes break, and at 15 back here for their conclusion. They will have 2 minutes and 2 minutes for their conclusions.
To sum up why they should vote for it.
Yes, they have to sum up why you should vote for them, and then you will cast your vote. Thank you.
take your seat. Now we will have a 2 minutes like sum up where you should convince the audience to vote for you. Okay. Who wants to start? You want to start, maybe?
You want to start? Please go.
Okay.
Well, talking about the iPhone, the better thing is about iPhone is the better quality, and it's only because of the software and hardware integration, and they are developing everything from themselves. They are not buying anything from a third vendor or any other manufacturer. So they have a very tight control on their hardware. You can see that even with 1 GB RAM, they are using the iOS 11 on iPhone 6. So 1 GB RAM is nothing. Even if you see the smartphone, they starts from 4 GB RAM up to, and it goes up to 8 GB, 12 GB. But iPhones are performing very good, even with 3 GB RAM, 2 GB RAM, even with 1 GB RAM. So my point is, like the question asked to them, that how you are going to improve the confidence of the users. They said, we are going to improve our quality. So this is the main thing they are lacking where? They are lacking in the quality, and also they don't trust the manufacturers from like Qualcomm. They are buying their processor from Qualcomm. They are buying their RAM from someone else. They are buying different hardware from different. Now they are planning to do everything on their own. So this is a big step for them to do, but Apple is already doing this. So I must say, I accept that iPhone is costly. So after my conclusion, when you are voting for the iPhone, consider it a gift and then decide what you want. Thank you.
Well, they have made a very, very good presentation. It was very catchy, but it was like iPhones. It was for the most part marketing. Yeah, it was for the most part marketing. And why are iPhones so expensive? Because they spend also so much in marketing. And they have made this. They have said that an iPhone is like a tuxedo. We are studying for the most part IT here, and I don't see anyone wearing a tuxedo. So why should I wear a tuxedo if I only need a t-shirt?
That's the trick. Like to start first or second. Decide. So
it's time to vote.
It's time to vote. I think it's capital B.
No, I do not use capital letters. Check.
It's not capital. You're right.
So this is a link.
There is a link. You have to go to this link. All the audience. You are not voting. So you are not casting your vote. The audience should go to this link and then cast your vote. Massimiliano will show the result. Did you write it?
It's like another minute and then we
Did you write it? Someone didn't?
Puoi proiettarlo se vuoi.
No.
Hai il connettore tu?
No, è tutto lo stesso.
Sì. Fai vedere lo schermo?
No, senza schermo. So who didn't vote? Can you raise your hands?
Who is still voting? Raise your hands, okay.
Please. We are ICT guys, come on.
Yeah, but forgetting that the one is.
Okay.
You have to rewrite that.
Okay, 1 minute more.
Sai che il bando didattica? Sai Andrea?
In the meantime, the signing paper from Cass, where is that? The signing paper. Yeah, then there's also to come to the two teams.
But well, we can count them, I mean.
Yeah. So we still casting the vote. So you have 1 minute more, and then we need to close. And what's the issue with casting? Do you have issue with casting?
Okay. So did you finish?
Can you wait? It's not working.
It's not working.
Vedete che devo fare una locale, poi
Okay. Can you just tell us eventually who you want to vote? Alright. No, I think that you guys are the two only missing, so you want to Okay. So I think we are done, right? So Andrea,
There is 2 missing because they are not able
just ask for the vote and we count.
Okay. We are missing 2 votes. We are not able to.
Ci sono 2 che non sono riusciti a votare, ma ame. Perché allora lui non gli va il cellulare, proprio non piglia,
Sì,
non
vabbè.
piglia il sito.
Cioè,
E anche
lui
lui.
cos'è che vota? Cosa vuole votare?
Ah, aspetta.
Basta chiederglielo, cioè a un certo punto.
Okay, we exclude them because it's a fair. They are one for the one team and one for the other. So we can also the statistics stays the same. Okay.
So we have a winner actually.
We have a winner. Not an even. Not a party.
It was balanced, by the way, because just for the 51.1%, Apple won.
Wow! Incredible! Incredible! Fagli vedere tutto schermo. So, incredible!
Yeah, good. So we have a winner. And
49.1 against
+2. There are 2 votes missing actually, but
no, but it's 1 and 1. So
yeah, but other 2 that didn't. So it's 51.1 eventually.
51.1 against 49. So very close to the. So incredible.
Yeah.
So no polarization. So very fair battle, I would say. Congratulations again.
Wednesday. There will be the first epistemology class. See you on Wednesday here, I guess.
Here at 2:30 as usual, okay? Epistemology, so there will be an interesting lecture.
Thanks
to all. Bravi.